Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you this morning with another installment of the Todd's Bursting Bookcase book haul that I received in the mail a couple of weeks ago. He sent me 2 boxes of books. In an earlier video, I had showed you some Civil War books that he had given me, and this big old stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books will be all World War II stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you what he sent me. I'm pretty excited about the stack. So the first book in this stack is D-Day, Minute by Minute. And it's one historic day, hundreds of unforgettable stories. And this is by Jonathan Mayo. And earlier in the year, I got done teaching D-Day. And D-Day, every year when I teach it, it fascinates me. I seem to pick up something new to read about it, and just all of the stuff that went into that battle, or that, the couple days that took place, especially the one day, June 6, 1944, it always seems to amaze me. So I'm really happy when I pick up books on D-Day. This particular one is from Marble Arch Press, and it is a 2014 book. Let me read the inside cover to you. It says, "The minute-by-minute story of the most audacious amphibious operation the world has ever seen. This is the story of the D-Day landings as seen through the eyes of the people who found themselves placed in often extraordinary situations on that historic day in June 1944. From military generals to French villagers, take Lieutenant Norman Poole jumping from a bomber surrounded by 200 decoy dummy parachutists. French baker Pierre Cardin leading the British paratroopers to his local church where he knows 2 German soldiers are hiding in the confessional. Southampton telegram boy Tom Hitt, delivering his first death message by midday, or Werner Kortenhaus of the 21st Panzer Division running at the sound of the Allied aircraft to collect his still damp washing from the French woman who'd been doing his laundry. D-Day, Minute by Minute, is a fast-paced chronological narrative giving a blow-by-blow account of the momentous events as they unfolded." So that's going to be, I think, some really good stuff. It's always good to, get some first-hand accounts. Here is, picture your author, Jonathan Mayo. Anyway, great book. Shouldn't take very long to get through it. It's only just under 300 pages, so that'll be a quick read, but I think it'll be really good. The next book in the stack is a biography, and this is Mussolini and His Generals, The Armed Forces and Fascist Foreign Policy, 1922 to 1940, by John Gooch. And wasn't familiar with this author, so this will be a new one for me. Your blurbs on the back of the book come from Williamson Murray, McGregor Knox, and R.J.B. Bosworth. And I honestly don't know a ton. I have not read a ton on Mussolini and the stuff going on in Italy. So this will be really good. It's kind of a big book. It's just over 650 pages long. This comes from Cambridge University Press, and it is a 2007 book. This says, "This is the first authoritative study of the Italian armed forces and the relationship between military and foreign policies of fascist Italy, from Mussolini's rise to power in 1922 to the catastrophic defeat of 1940. Using extensive new research, John Gooch explores the nature and the development of 3 armed forces, the relationships with Mussolini, and the impact of his policies and command, the development of operational and strategic thought, and the deployment and use of force in Libya, Abyssinia, and Spain. He emphasizes Mussolini's long-term expansionist goals and explains how he responded to the structural pressures of the international system and the contingent pressures of events. This compelling account shows that while Mussolini bore ultimate responsibility for Italy's fateful entry into the Second World War, his generals and admirals bore a share of the blame for defeat through policies that all too often rested on irrationality and incompetence. So that'll be an interesting read. You know, when I started BookTube, I had a handful of World War II books, but in the last 2 years, I'm telling you what, if I can get through them, I'm going to know quite a bit about World War II. So, you know, I have big thanks to Todd for sending these books. So let's just keep going here. The Holocaust, The Fate of European Jewry, by Lenny Yahiel or Yahl. Not sure how to say that name, but this is a ex-library copy here, and it is, let's see, from Oxford University Press, out of New York and Oxford, from 1990, and this is a monster of a book also. You're talking 808 pages long. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there. And of course, this is, you know, dealing all with the Holocaust. So that's a nice addition. Here's another book in the stack. This is Secret Channel to Berlin, the Schellenberg Connection and Swiss Intelligence in World War II by Pierre Thomas Braunschweig. Hopefully I'm saying that right, or at least I'm close. And there's your back of the book. This one's a Casemate book, and it's from 2004. And this says, and I'm going to read this, and I hope I'm not going to butcher too many names here. We get into the foreign names, and I struggle sometimes, so please forgive me on that. It says, Secret Channel to Berlin is the first comprehensive history of Swiss intelligence and its astounding secret connections in World War II. Once Nazi Germany had reached the height of its power, there was no nation as vulnerable to a sudden surprise attack as Switzerland. By 1942, when Alan Dulles established himself in Bern as OSS station chief, Switzerland stood alone as the sole remaining democracy in continental Europe, and the need for a highly active Swiss military intelligence service had become a matter of national survival. This book tells the fascinating story of the most controversial Swiss intelligence operation of the war, the covert interaction between the head of Swiss intelligence, Colonel Roger Masson, and the head of the German SS Foreign Intelligence General Walter Schellenberg. Drawing on a multitude of untapped primary sources, Pierre Thomas Braunschweig has provided the most complete account to date of the Masson-Schellenberg connection. By forging such high-level channel to the center of the Third Reich, had Masson provided an extra level of security, or had he inadvertently let the wolf in the door, increasing Switzerland's danger while diminishing its own reputation as a spy master? Masson's extraordinary channel to Berlin was not, of course, the only Swiss intelligence operation during the war. Braunschweig outlines in captivating detail the gradual build-up, tasks, and functions of Swiss intelligence during the war. He also examines the conflicts that raged within the Swiss intelligence community and the federal government in Bern, and includes surprising new details about the alarming military threats Switzerland faced in March of 1943. Filled with fascinating personalities, keen analysis, and rare details on the operations of Swiss wartime intelligence, Secret Channel to Berlin fills in a large gap in our knowledge of this heretofore hidden aspect of World War II. So again, another blank spot in my knowledge of World War II. So that'll fill that in. Thank you again, Todd. So next book on the stack is Hitler's Austria, Popular Sentiment in the Nazi Era, 1938 to 1945. And this is by Evan Burr. Is it Buki? Not real sure on that, but there's the cover. We've got, this book comes from let's see, the University of North Carolina Press out of Chapel Hill, and it is a 2000 book. And there's a little blurb here on the back. Let's go ahead and read that right fast. And it does say that this was the winner of the 2000 National Jewish Book Award, the Holocaust category, Jewish Book Council. It says, using evidence gathered in Europe and the United States, Evan Bucke crafts a nuanced portrait of a popular opinion in Austria, Hitler's homeland. After the country was annexed by Germany in 1938, he demonstrates that despite widespread dissent and discontent and non-compliance, a majority of the Austrian populace supported the Auschwitz regime, particularly in its economic, social, and anti-Semitic policies, until the bitter end. Evan Burr Bucke is a professor of history at the University of Arkansas and the author of Hitler's Hometown, Linz, Austria, 1908 to 1945. So, nice paperback, not super long, just under 300 pages. Oh, no, a little over 300, 320 pages. So, that one should be a pretty quick read, I would think. But happy to have that. And the next three, I really like the covers on them. I like the style of the covers. So these are the last three in the stack. This is the Riviera at War, World War II on the Côte d'Azur. Probably messing that up, sorry. And it's by George G. Kundal. And I really like that cover. I just think it's the colors and everything are pretty cool. Here's your back cover. And this is a 2017 book, and it comes from I.B. Taurus out of London. And this is, what, 400, I can't get to it. There we go, 425 pages long. And I'll read this one to you. It says, during World War II, three distinct forces opposed the Allies: Germany, Italy, and Japan. Few areas of the world experienced domination by more than a single one of these, but southeastern France, notably the south of the Riviera, the Côte d'Azur, was one. The Riviera at War presents the panoply, I know I'm messing that up, of wartime experiences in southeastern France under Marshal Pétain's government in Vichy and the Italian and German occupations that followed. I got to stop here, BookTube. You know, this is what they don't tell you when you go to do a book haul and you're trying to share stuff. You know, you're going to come across words that you are going to stumble upon, and some people get really, really irritated, and they'll do cuts in their video. I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing cuts, and you guys could just laugh at me, hopefully not get mad at me, but laugh right along with me. I apologize for messing this up. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, let me see if I can finish this without messing it up too bad. If I did cuts in a video, this is where it would be. If you're new to the channel, this is what you got to expect. I apologize. Okay, here we go. In early 1942, the British began inserting special agents by boat, parachute, and small aircraft to equip and train a French resistance. The desolate terrain behind the Mediterranean coast sheltered more fugitives than any other area of France. Small isolated camps or maquis attracted Jews, Freemasons, communists, gypsies, deserters from the Wehrmacht, and other foreign nationals. A forced labor program sending French workers to factories in Germany drove more dissenters into the hills to join the resistance. The Côte d'Azur also became a destination for Jewish refugees fleeing Nazi persecution across Europe, especially when the Italians occupied southeastern France. More than 50,000 Jews sought refuge there during the war years, leading to a series of tragic deportations once the Gestapo gained control. The Allies landed on the Riviera in August of 1944, 1944. An amphibious operation unfolded, second in size only to Normandy, with 850 ships transporting 3 American infantry divisions and a French army with 2 armored and 5 infantry divisions. At the same time, Allied aircraft delivered parachutists and artillery pieces and gliders to drop zones behind the coast. And with the help of the resistance, both urban and rural, the Allies liberated the Riviera and its backcountry, while the French armed freed Marseille and Toulon. Yet the Riviera was not completely free from the hostilities until April of 1945, as German artillery on an Alpine peak continued daily barrages until 2 weeks before Berlin surrendered. In this book, George G. Kundal provides the first comprehensive narrative of wartime experiences on the French Riviera, covering military, political, and social aspects, using a wide variety of original sources, including interviews and previously unseen documents. He shows how the brutal realities of war were experienced in one of the most beautiful corners of France. So, looking forward to that. Next book in the stack, last 2 here. This is No Simple Victory, World War II in Europe, 1939 to 1945, by Norman Davies. And looks like just a history of the war in Europe. So pretty simple. I don't think I probably need to read this cover to you. I'll skip through it. But this book does come from Viking, and it is a 2006 book. But nice little history of World War II. Sometimes those can become very big books, multiple volume. This is a nice single volume. All right, so the last book in the stack to show you from this box of books or the last World War II book from the stack of books that were in the box from Todd's Bursting Bookcase is the Battle of, is it Arnhem? Arnhem? Hopefully I'm not butchering that too bad. The Deadliest Airborne Operation of World War II by Anthony Beaver. It says, #1 international bestseller, author of D-Day. So there's that. There's your back cover. It says this is from Viking, and it is a 2018 book, so a little bit newer book. I'll read this final one, and then we'll wrap this video up. It says, on September 17th, 1944, General Kurt Student, the founder of Nazi Germany's parachute forces, heard the groaning roar of airplane engines. He went out into his balcony above the flat landscape of southern Holland to watch the air armada of C-47 Skytrains and gliders carrying the legendary American 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions and the British 1st Airborne Division. Operation Market Garden, the plan to end the war by capturing the bridges leading to the Lower Rhine and below, was a bold concept, but could it have ever worked? The cost of failure was horrendous. Above all, for the Dutch, who risked everything to help, German reprisals were pitiless and cruel and lasted until the end of the war. In the Battle of Arnhem, Anthony Beaver, using many overlooked and new sources from Dutch, American, British, Polish, and German archives, has reconstructed the terrible reality of fighting, which General Student called the last German victory. Yet this book, written in Beaver's inimitable and gripping narrative style, is about much more than a single dramatic battle. It looks into the heart of war. All right, so looks like this is going to be a good one. It's got lots of different, just flip to the middle there, lots of different black and white photos. Got a couple different sections of those photos, and so that'll be fun. I always like looking at the photos. It helps me visualize everything. So yeah, this is the stack of World War II books from Todd at Todd's Bursting Bookcase. Thank you for your generosity, Todd. I really appreciate it. I've shared that with you before. I love learning history. I like learning it right along with my kids. So this is definitely helpful to that endeavor. Let me see if I can lift this stack of books. It's kind of big, kind of heavy. I don't know if I can get it all on the camera. So there you go. There is the stack from Todd's Bursting Bookcase. Thank you, Todd. So tell me what you think, BookTube. If you have read these, if you got any comments on any of these books, let me know in the comments below. If there's any of them that you think I should try to dip into, fairly soon, let me know. And if there's any of them that are, one that's better than another that you think, if I'm reading them in order, what I should read first to last, just let me know. Thank you to all the new subscribers out there. Hopefully my little hiccup earlier there in the video doesn't, wave you away. Stick around. It only gets better. So I hope you guys are having a good time out there. You've had a good week and looking forward to a good weekend. I know we've got 1 week left until spring break, and it's looking like maybe I need it. So until next time, BookTube, happy reading.